Today, I finally have good news. Every single one of the living hostages is now in Israel. This is what it looks like when prayers get answered and when history makes a turn for peace. But it also looks like Hamas is already violating the deal. I want to talk about that in just a moment. Shalom from Israel. I am Hananya Naftali with the latest update from the Middle East. After over 700 gut-wrenching days, the unimaginable is now a reality. All the living hostages are finally home. For the first time since 2014, not a single living Israeli is held captive in Gaza. The heart of our nation is starting to beat normally again. Families that haven't heard the voice of their children for 2 years are finally holding them again. Just look at the mothers, fathers, siblings, partners. Our nation has been through hell. And today we can finally cry with joy. But before I continue, please subscribe to my YouTube channel today. Today more than ever. We need to stand united for truth, for light over darkness. Let us unite together for truth. So this operation to bring our hostages home was named Returning to Their Border. And it echoes the words of Prophet Jeremiah from what he said in chapter 31, verse 17, your children will return to their own land. That's biblical prophecy happening right in front of us. But again, on that note, I also have to talk to you about the heavy price, because this wasn't a Hollywood ending. It came at a heavy price. To bring home 20 living Israeli hostages and the remaining 28 dead hostages, Israel released 2,000 Palestinian terrorists. And not just any terrorists. Many of them are convicted terrorists, men with Jewish blood on their hands, men who celebrated the slaughter of our people. Today, evil walked out of prison, wearing a smile, unfortunately, as bad as it sounds. Today, actually, it was reported that there was an incident during the process of releasing these Palestinian terrorists. So basically, one of the released terrorists decided he's unstoppable and attacked one of the guards before being released, which actually led to the guards sending him back to prison, back to his cell, and he will not be released today. So yeah, and it only goes to show you that who we're dealing with. It's not like the terrorists changed their paths and changed their minds in prison. They have the same mindset. We cannot be naive, like I told you guys. And yes, this is a bittersweet moment, because on one side, it's the tears of joy to see our children, our brothers, step onto Israeli soil. But on the other, the cold reality that thousands of killers are going to breathe free air again. And this is the impossible choice only Israel faces. Choosing life, even when justice has to wait. And I have to say, a nation's strength isn't measured by how many enemies it kills, but rather by how fiercely it protects its own. Israel pays the highest price because we value what our enemies don't. The sanctity of every single life. But it actually, on that note, I have to say that it looks like Hamas is in violation of the hostage deal, already in violation of the deal, which is just crazy. And we learn about it just after President Trump left for Egypt. So according to the deal, Hamas must release all the hostages, the dead and the living, today. But now Hamas says it can only hand 4 bodies, according to reports, according to what we know as of now. And they cannot hand out all the remaining dead hostages. So the day is not over yet. According to the deal, they must release them, the dead hostages as well, hand them over for burial in Israel, for closure for the families. And I strongly support what Israel's defense minister said. He said, for every violation of the agreement, there will be a response to that. And of course, The big guest that we had today in Israel is President Trump, that landed in the morning as our hostages were being released from captivity. It's really a remarkable moment in Israel. If you were in Israel or are in Israel, the country is filled with flags of Israel. In the United States, everybody's just coming together, celebrating freedom. President Trump came not just to witness history, but also to shape it. There were many actually reports and quotes about how Trump and Netanyahu hate each other and they don't get along, they're not friends. Well, today shattered those rumors. Trump invited Netanyahu to join him in the Beast and drive together to Jerusalem, which was against protocol. But this only shows you that they are not just leaders, but they're strong friends that like to spend time together when possible. When Trump addressed the Knesset, the Israeli parliament, and I just have to say I love how he started his speech. He started by saying we give thanks to the Abrahamic God, not the God of progressivism, not the God of political correctness, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
We gather on a day of profound joy, of soaring hope, of renewed faith, and above all, a day to give our deepest thanks to the Almighty God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
The God who parts seas, not pronouns. And Trump declared this is the end of the war and the end of the age of terrorism. And as you can imagine, he got the longest applause ever given in the Knesset. I mean, I do know we Israelis, we have a lot of emotions, a lot of thoughts, and a lot of arguments, especially in this house where he spoke today. But people stood and clapped for him in gratitude for what he did for 3 straight minutes. This is really unprecedented.
And after so many years of unceasing war and endless danger, today the skies are calm, the guns are silent, the sirens are still, and the sun rises on a holy land that is finally at peace, a land and a region that will live, God willing, in peace for all eternity.
And of course, to be honest, he deserves it. He put an end to 8 wars in 8 months. The hostages are home. The Abraham Accords are alive. Iran's nuclear program shattered. Hezbollah crippled. The United States and Israel standing strong back to back like King David and his mighty men. So when Trump moves, evil retreats. And guess what? The haters, oh, they hate that. The progressives in America are already so mad right now seeing what Trump is achieving. Because let me ask you something. When Hamas was whining and crying over Israeli airstrikes and all the starvation line that we heard about, who jumped to their defense? Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, the whole ridiculous squad. They tweeted, they marched, they wept for the terrorists. But now, when Jews are finally rejoicing because their sons are home, crickets, silence. When Hamas cries, the squad tweets. But when Israelis rejoice, the squad shuts up. Well, I guess we need to rejoice more just to keep them quiet. But I bet they're so mad that peace is breaking out without boots on the ground, like everybody said, without starting World War III, like everybody said. Trump is the one pulling the strings. At this rate, they might need to hang a gold-framed picture of him in their offices. But look, Trump understands what many don't. Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, the Islamic regime in Iran, they don't see a difference between the Star of David and the Stars and Stripes. To them, we, the West, are the enemy. They call America the big Satan and Israel the little Satan. They hate our Bible. They hate your values. They hate your freedom. They're not coming for us instead of you. They're coming for both. But here's the good news. Israel and America are not just allies. We are covenant partners. Our friendship is not based on politics. It's based on prophecy, on shared Judeo-Christian roots, on standing against darkness together. The future of the Middle East will not be decided by mobs on social media. It will be decided by nations bold enough to call evil by its name and to build peace through strength. In Tel Aviv's Hostage Square, people danced, some cried today, some popped champagne, some stood in silence. It was just beautiful. Soldiers hugged each other, families held signs saying thank you, Trump, and welcome home. Even in Re'im base, which was invaded by Hamas on October 7 and turned into a slaughterhouse, it became a place of resurrection. The Red Cross delivered the hostages there, but it was the prayers of a nation that carried them back. We have to remember that peace is not just the absence of war, it's the presence of justice, strength, and the courage to fight for your children and their future. And now, Israel can finally breathe, finally rebuild, and finally believe again. So I have to tell all of you who kept Israel in your prayers and you never stopped supporting us in our darkest hour, thank you for that. God bless you. God bless Israel. And God bless the returning sons and daughter of our nation.